The life of a refugee does not offer anything to eat. The life of a refugee is the equivalent of not having a place in society's seat. The life of a refugee is painful and cuts deep. The life of a refugee includes not being able to sleep. Ooh. The life of a refugee involves discrimination and pain. The life of a refugee makes you dismiss the vain. The life of a refugee is full of suggestions. The life of a refugee inspires many questions. The life of a refugee is a dangerous game. The life of a refugee shows how quickly governments forget your name. The life of a refugee is borderline crazy. The life of a refugee is a product of politicians being corrupt and lazy. The life of a refugee shows their strength and bravery. The life of a refugee displays the resistance against mental slavery. The life of a refugee is full of strangers. The life of a refugee is full of dangers. The life of a refugee presents a range of masks. The life of a refugee offers an endless list of tasks. Ugh. The life of a refugee puts a person through hell. The life of a refugee forces one to become a shell. The life of a refugee destroys all of the sunlight. The life of a refugee turns day into night. The life of a refugee always carries a heavy price. The life of a refugee highlights the need to not play nice. The life of a refugee is a risk that threatens sanity. The life of a refugee compels onlookers to challenge status quo's vanity. The life of a refugee involves not going with the flow. The life of a refugee is an attempt at saying no. The life of a refugee makes you give it your all. The life of a refugee revolves around avoiding the curtain fall. The life of a refugee seems out of reach. The life of a refugee has lessons to teach. The life of a refugee has ideas up for adoption. The life of a refugee is not offered as an option. The life of a refugee has many twists and turns. The life of a refugee has cruel and rough burns. The life of a refugee can be a descent into madness. The life of a refugee is surrounded by fears and sadness. The life of a refugee plays an unexpected tune. The life of a refugee often passes by too soon. The life of a refugee, the life of a refugee, the life of a refugee. You can find the full script, the book, at idamandich.com, AIDAMANDIC.com. I used to be a refugee. I was born in Bosnia, and I was mercilessly degraded by people because I was a refugee. I was told to go back to my country. I got death threats. I've been called every name in the book. Nothing shocks me anymore. But yeah, I used to be a refugee. This is practically like my life story condensed in this book.